Hi, this is Vasily and you are watching Phantom Shape tutorial, and let's see the references. Okay, now go back to Cinema. You may notice there is a small toolbar just for this tutorial only. This will open render settings and this will open render view. Okay, let's start from the render view actually. The Redshift renderer, I will change mode to advanced, and here I will go to the motion blur tab and I will enable these two checkboxes. Okay, I will close it for now. Now I will create a cube and I need to make this editable. Now I will go to point mode. I will press Shift C and type set vertex weight. You may enter any value here, let it be 0. I will move it here and I will enable the fields. Let me remove this freeze layer and I will create a solid layer, and default value of 100 is enough for me. Now I will create a Redshift object tag, and here in motion blur tab I will enable this checkbox. And now I will drop this vertex weight into that field. Now let me open render view and hit play. There is not much happening here, and that's actually because motion blur is rendered only during the true render. So you need to click this button, and again there is nothing. That's because that motion blur is too small. For us, we can just increase this to 500 maybe. Hit this button again. And you see what our static cube now having this smashed geometry. Now go back to render settings. I would like to change this range, and I will go to the sampling, change the final rendering to progressive, and I will set, for example, 128 passes, and I will change this to res R&D. Let me close it, check again if it works. Range has changed, that's because, let me open render setting again. Default value of the shutter was 0.25, 0.75, and this option is limit us to a portion of a frame. So that's why I changed the range. Okay, now let me actually not use only X direction, let me add all three directions. To do this, I will rename this vertex map to X, and I will duplicate it 2 times. Let it be Y, and this would be Z. Okay, now go back to the tag and drop all these vertex maps into respective fields. Let me check again what is happening here. And that's actually maybe not what you expected to see. Let me close this window. Let me create new cube, go back to object mode, and I would like to zoom out a bit. And let me open render setting again, go to motion blur and set frame position to start. Now we have 3 vertex maps, one is for X, one is for Y, and one is for Z. Let me draw better. And our final motion blur wouldn't go separately in each that direction. Our final blur would be a summary of these 3 vectors, and the final point would be pointed in that way. Let me draw imaginal cube. And the final point would come into that corner, if that would be a cube. So let me open render view again. Let's check this. And you might see that picture is exactly explaining what is happening here. I hope that's clear now. Okay, let me close this, let me disable this. I will remove this object. Okay, and actually that's the main disadvantage of that functionality. You can see this in real time in render view. You need to render this again and again. So I will go to this output and I will change this to all frames. And I will disable saving, and maybe I need to reduce the size a bit. Okay, let it be so. Now, if I will render this to a picture view without saving, actually I would be able to see the animation, at least when I will do it. Let me stop this for now. I will disable this cube and I'm going to animate this cube. I will animate just rotation, a simple full circle animation, and let me render this. The rendering is done and let's see how it works. And for now it just rotates whole wet motion blur around the object. And that's because this free text is defining the motion blur in the local coordinates of that object. If object rotates, everything is rotates. So what can be done here? Let me copy this animation, the whole track, and I will delete the existing track. Okay, now let me create a connect object. I will disable this weld option, I will drop this cube here onto the connect, I will enable this. Both these cubes are default one and they have the same amount of vertices, so we can just attach to this cube the rigging tag, which name it pose morph, and we can like enable this checkbox points. Go to this tag, and while this pose 0 is selected, we can expand this advanced tab and we will drop that connect object here. Okay, change mode to animate, go to basic tab and change this priority from expression to generators. And that's an important thing. Okay, now select this cube 1 and here in animation paste our track and let's see what's happened here. You may notice that our cube, which has no animation, it takes all the points from this cube 1, but its real axis of that cube remain in the global coordinate system. So now if you will render this, play the animation and you see the cube is rotates and the motion blur is directed in the same direction all the time. Okay, let me close this. Let me step back and I will show you the origin of that effect. I will create an end side. It would be two sides and exact plane, and I will make this as maybe 500 in radius, and here intermediate points would be natural and number would be 64. Okay, now press shift and add a formula. This formula has to change the points of the object, and transformation space would be a factor, and I will change this to maybe 10 and 50. Now go to the factor tab and change that frequency. See how it works. It's too fast. Okay. Let me rewind it. Now I will wrap this inside into the extrude object, and direction would be Y. This offset what would be 1000, and let me zoom out a bit. Now let me display the lines, and I'm going to maybe increase subdivision a bit. I will create a null, I will drop it here, I will hide the null, and while this extrude object is selected, just press Shift C and type current state object. Okay, move out this, remove all the selections. Okay, now attach pose morph tag, enable points. Into pose we will drop that extrude. Go back to animate, and priority has to be generators. Let's see if it works. Okay, our original extrude with the formula is hidden, but this point object extrude, all points are visible. Let's rewind this, Shift C again, and type set vertex weight. Okay, let's do the same what we did for our cube. Let's name this as X, enable fields, delete this freeze, add a solid, and duplicate this 2 times Y and Z. Okay, now open materials tab and let me create material. Let me create Redshift material. Open this, and I'm going to add some maxon noise. Also, I need a ramp. Let it be here, load the preset. It has to be full colors maybe. Drop maxon noise here. And I will drop this ramp into the emission channel. Okay. Go back to material. Set emission weight to maybe 2. Remove diffuse, remove reflection. And uncheck this checkbox. Set IR as a 1. And increase this weight. Okay, we're almost here. Let's type maxon noise again. It would be our alpha channel. I will drop this into rest material. And for alpha channel, I'm going to increase its scale to maybe 10. And I need some contrast here. Okay, let me check how it works. I will close this material, drop into Extrude, and open render setting. The same as here, Redshift, Advanced, Motion Blur, enable this. Leave this option as a center. Into the sampling I change to progressive and maybe 64 samples. Okay, open render view, hit play, and I see I need to adjust my material. Open it again. This maxon noise has to be maybe 8. And let me change type to sort of VL noise. And this maxon noise may be sort of wavy turbulence. Now we need to add the object tag. In motion blur I will enable this, and I will drop all these weight maps. I'm going to increase scale to 1000. And now let's see the second wear thing. Okay, shape is stretched but pattern is clearly seen. That's because that motion blur effect doesn't support any noise except the UV map noise. So close this, open material again, and for both these noises I have to change the source to the UV vertex attribute, and the same for that noise. Don't close this window yet. Check how it looks like now. Okay, this might work, just let's check this with motion blur. Okay guys, I hope your imagination telling you what this is a aurora borealis effect, but I just need to adjust it a bit. Let me decrease that value for the X value and for the Z value a bit. Now let's render this again. Yeah, I think that's now is better, reminds aurora borealis. Okay, now let me zoom to the edge of its shape. And let me render this again. Just take a look on that edge where we have a sharp ending of our mesh layer, and here on the render it has so smooth, almost gaseous look. Okay, let's render the animation. I'm going to adjust the shader a bit. I would like to add some animation here. Maybe that like. And maybe I will increase scale again. Let me check again. Let me zoom out. See how it works. And let me increase the size. Maybe go back to material. Actually that ramp is not suitable for effect of aurora borealis, but I don't want to spend too much time on it. Let's see. Go to render setting again, go to output, Let me change this. And all frames. Now I will render this. Let me play this. Okay, that's brilliant. You need to spend time on base mesh, like add some deformers or maybe different formula effector for that spline. Also you need to play with shader to add some different colors. I hope you just get overall idea. Okay, let's back to our cube. If you remember, that's a very primitive cube and there are only 8 vertices and 6 polygons. But actually not much to play with fields with that vertex map. So I'm going to change this by adding some segments to that source cube. And if I select this, and maybe I will increase this to 50, that editable cube is broken. So we need to create additional copy of that cube. It will be current state to object. Now we can just select all these things, drop here, and remove this cube. Okay, let's see if it works. Something is not that good. Yeah, okay. Go back to edit mode, and I believe we need to make this. Now let's check. Okay, it works. Go back to our weight map and maybe to object mode. And I'm going to let me zero that x and z value. I will work currently only with y direction. And I'm going to add a linear field here. Let me see. It has to be normal. Like this. Let me open render view. And let's see how linear filters work. Okay, let me rotate this field. And maybe I'm going to zoom a bit. So we now can play with additional fields. Go back to that field and add maybe random field. In that case, random field would work perfectly with our vertex map. That's because UV map has to be used only with material node. Let me check what's work here. Let's switch to overlay. And maybe we need to increase that scale. Maybe 500. Let's see again. Let me decrease that scale to 100. Okay, I would like to make even more segments, maybe 100 in each axis, and again I need to make current state to object. I will detach everything, put it here, and this one. Also these fields, remove this. Let's see. Okay, now I'm going to add some shader magic. Let it be new vertex map. I will call this as a weight. I will remove this solid and I will go to that field. I need to group this selection. Let me remove this solid. This has to be normal. Let me drop all these fields into the group. And here I will drop my group field. Okay, now we can use this weight map in our shader. So I need to create actual shader. I close this, open it. I need a vertex attribute and I will drop this field here. Now I will create a ramp. Let it be input. Inside of ramp I will create, let it be this gradient, I need to invert this. Okay, now this, let me drop this into diffuse. And let me drop this material on my cube. Let's see. Let's see if it works. Okay, let me hide this. I think it's time to add some light and let it be just maybe dome light. Render again. Let me zoom out. Okay, let me go to the dome light. I'm going to disable that background and I will render this again. So now you have a better view what my cube is starting to dissolve from its original state to sort of ephemeral substance, and as I'm using the same fields for the color and for the motion blur, you might see that the most distorted shape has that white color. And also if you will adjust that material, and we will use the same attribute as we used for diffuse color, if we will use the same attribute for emission. It's here. I'm going to render it. Okay, now you got the general idea of how to shade this effect. Now I'm going to show you how to properly set direction for that cube, because it's not a best case when you need to set these values separately for X, Y and Z. So now I'm going to create several things. I'm going to use linear field as our direction for the motion blur. To make this, I need let it be additional linear field. I will name this as a direction. I'm going to wrap this into a group field. So let it be group field direction. Okay, now let me drop this here. I'm going to remove this solid, go to the group field, I will drop linear here. I don't need anything except the direction. I need a solid layer to use this as a value, and this linear field would be our direction. Let me change this a bit. No remap. I think it's good for us. Now here I'm going to create channel convert layer, expand this and drop this direction into the source, change the maximum to normal and remove all these attributes. Okay, now go to the channel convert. And just remember what I do. I'm going to set value from the direction. So you need to find this value row, and here from value you need to change this to direction X. Now select linear field, go to remapping tab and disable this checkbox. Okay, now it's worked perfect. And I'm going to copy this layer and I'm going to propagate this layer everywhere. But I need to change that channel convert from the direction X to direction Y, because that's Y direction. And I'm going to remove this and paste my group field and change direction X to direction Z. Also you need to uncheck this clumping in all our fields. Okay, I will move it here and I'm going to check if it works. Okay, and right now, if I will select this direction layer and I will select rotation tool, if I will change rotation of that layer, it would be reflected in my image. Okay, I will use this group field for the direction, and this field I will use for the weight. what it does. Now I'm going to drop this weight here, and blending has to be multiplied. The same in all weight maps. Go back to weight. Yeah, I need to remove this, and maybe need to adjust this linear field. Let me see how it looks like. Okay, when I'm selected weight map, I can clearly see which part of a cube would be distorted. Render it. Yeah, I believe that sort of effect you would like to see. Let me animate this and see in animation. I will start from this point. Let me record position. And I will end up here. And I will hit render button. Let me hit play. You see cube is rotating and effect is applied. Still not look very cool. Let me adjust this. I'm going to increase that scale to maybe 1000. And let's check on the last frame how it works. I believe it has to be look like this. And now what I'm going to do, I'm going to remove that rotation. And now I will go to material shader, and here into the luminance I'm going to add some additional noise. And now it will be UV map. Just let me connect this to output and see how it looks like. Yeah, I need to adjust some contrast. And maybe I will add a ramp shader. I need to merge two shaders using that node. Okay, let me drop this here, and maybe it has to be multiply. Let's see how it works. I don't see anything. Okay. Multiply. Let me change ramp. Maybe I will add some purple color here and select everything. Smooth. Let's see how it looks. Go here and reduce the contrast a bit. That's probably enough for us, and I will move it here, this here, and this option here. Whew, it's fine. Now let's check final frame. Now you might notice that lines that coming from noise from UV map, and I'm going to adjust one thing as well. Go here on group weight field, I'm going to add that curve, so my transition would start much smoother. I need to adjust the curve, maybe like here. Let's check again. Okay, still not perfect. Let's go to our transition. And let's remap this using the curve. Let's see if it works. Okay, now it's much interesting. Let's rewind it a bit. Check again. Yeah, I like this curvature what it's now creating. Now that cube becomes that phantom much smoother. Maybe we need to disable the geometry tessellation. Let's check again. So you see look has changed, so maybe I'm going to switch it back, but it's up to you to use it or not. And let me check again render settings. I'm going to decrease this to 64 and I'm going to render this again. Okay, now let's check what we got. Now it's much interesting. And okay, now let's play this. That much interesting effect we have. Let me create new group field and let me name this as direction, I don't know, amplify. I will drop this weight group field into that field list. Let me disable this and I'm going to add range map. Maybe from 0 to 200 would be enough. And I will change this weight with our direction amplified field in all three weight maps. But this weight map I will leave as is. And let's see on the last frame how it looks like now. Okay, I'm confused, you can never disappear this. How much you change this, it just increase your trail. Like if you will move away, you can see our trail increased that much. If you will change it back to 100. So here our original cube and the trail starts from that cube and ends somewhere in space. Okay, let me close this. Okay, I will leave these group fields. Let it be. This field would be used for the weight map, for the shaders, and these two fields would affect our direction. Okay, currently we only work with linear field, and in that only positive direction. Let's see if it would work properly if we will switch direction to a negative zone. And actually I need to remove this flag. Let me expand this linear field direction to -x. Let's check render again. And check render again. And let me disable view of this cube. Okay, motion trail goes inward, but let me choose different frame. Okay, it seems it works. Okay, now I'm going to switch this linear field to maybe sort of a, I don't know, spherical field. Let me disable this, change this flux, and here we'll change to normal. Okay, when working with direction field, don't forget to disable remapping. Okay, seems now it's fine, and let me check render again. Okay, I personally don't like this image, but let me check on early stages how it looks like. That happened because our spherical field is directed inwards. Let's enable this remapping in the direction. I'm going to change this length to no remap. Let me disable this and check again. Okay, that's what I need. Oh, what's happening? Okay. Now, let me check this scale maybe. I'm going to reduce it to 250. Okay, I spent a few minutes with that spherical field setup, and here in remapping you need to enable remapping, and in the direction tab you need to change the length to normalize. So with scale in the tag, like scale of 500 maybe, it would work with similar way as it worked for the linear field. And I'm rendering animation. If I will play this, You see how now cube expanded not in a single direction, but it expand in all direction, because the spherical field is defined with direction. Okay, that's all from my side. Do your experiments, reach me in case of any issues, and thanks for watching. Bye bye.